Oh, did I not talk about that? I didn't talk about that. So right now, you might be wondering why I'm wearing a jacket and black jeans. And this is because Hi, I'm Dabby, but you can call me Dabz. 머리가 좀 이상한 거. So today I'm reviewing The Outsiders by S.E Hinton. So this book is a book that I read at school, and I think that like every 8th or 7th grader reads this book in language arts, I'm pretty sure. So if you're like in 8th or 7th grade or like you're above, then you might already know this book, and you might already know you might already have read it. Because it's a pretty popular book, and I'm pretty sure they teach it in America in a lot of schools. So yeah. Bonk. So this book is about two different gangs, the Greasers and the Socias. And the Greasers and the Socias live on opposite sides of town, and they also hate each other, and they're like almost polar opposites. The Greasers are very underprivileged and poor, and they don't live a good life, like some people would say, or some people think they don't at least. While the Socias are more privileged, they're very wealthy, they have a lot of money, and they like live a good life. And the Socias, their favorite hobby is beating up greasers. So this book is told from the perspective of Ponyboy Curtis. Yeah, his name is Ponyboy, and he is 14 years old. And because of this situation that happens, I can't really explain much about it, but because of the situation, his life gets turned upside down along with all of the other greasers' lives. So yeah, that's what this book is about. Our lesson, like our unit of this book, was perceptions and like stereotypes, and that was like the base around this book, was like how people perceive other people. So yeah. So I ended up really enjoying this book. The first thing that I wanted to talk about was like this book I read at school, and for some reason, maybe just for me, but when I read books that are like assigned to you at school, I end up not enjoying them as much, and I think it's because of like all of like the overanalyzing we have to do, and like we read at a very slow pace at school as well, because I'm a pretty fast reader, but at school when we're doing book clubs and things like that, we have to read slower, like just in case other people like are slower readers and stuff. So usually I end up not enjoying books that I read at school, but this one I actually enjoyed a lot. One of the reasons why is the characters. There were a lot of different characters, and I think that they were very developed, and I loved how all of them had different flaws and strengths, and I enjoyed how they were all different and how they like grew like character development wise as well. I feel like my favorite character, the main character, wasn't that, like, I didn't like the main character that much. I think the main character was kind of boring, like, compared to some of the other side characters. The other side characters, to me, just had more depth to them. But I thought that was interesting. Relating to this, the relationship development of the characters was very interesting. Because we read this book at school, we had to do a lot of analyzing for it. So when we analyzed the characters and the relationships, it made me kind of appreciate more how each relationship in this book kind of changed over time. Reading this in class, in addition to like the characters and the development of the relationships and the growth of the characters, we also had to analyze like little things that were in the book. And an example of that is the author actually like added this poem in there, and the poem is called Nothing Gold Can Stay by Robert Frost. You might have heard of it. I think like it's a pretty popular poem. This poem actually like symbolized something in the book, because Nothing Gold Can Stay is kind of about how like nothing good can stay. Huh? Doing this, like, it made me kind of appreciate the author and how much they actually thought about each thing they put in the book. Another example is they added the characters Red, Gone with the Wind, which also symbolized something in the book. So yeah, I thought those were cool. Bonk. I don't know if I can say a little bit about it. Like, If you guys, let me say this. If you guys don't want to know what Gone with the Wind symbolizes in the book, if you want to like figure it out yourselves, don't watch this part. I don't know if anyone wants to, but so Gone with the Wind is about the Civil War, right? And the Civil War, if you know a little bit about history, you know that it happened in America. It was two sides of America fighting against each other. And in this book is about the Greasers and the Socs and them kind of fighting against each other, but they live in the same town, but on like different sides of the town. So it kind of like, that's what it symbolized. So, yeah. So I felt like the characters were very realistic. I talk a lot about characters here, but I feel like the characters were very realistic, and it made me like happy or sad or hurt when something happened to one of them. Like if the like one of the characters achieved something really great, I would feel happy for them. If they like got hurt, I would feel sad about them. I felt like they were almost like real people instead of just fictional characters, and because of this, I became attached to a lot of the characters, and I think that's good writingness. Yeah. So after I had read this book, I actually realized that it takes place over like a shorter amount of time than I thought it did. There's a lot of different stuff that happens in this book, but it takes place over like, I don't know how long, a couple of weeks, a week or so. And I didn't know that I didn't realize this until after I'd read it and I kind of thought about it. And because of like it taking place over such a short amount of time, I think that part made the book a little bit less realistic. And also the fact that like it was the main character was literally 14 when he did all of this stuff that happened in the book that I can't talk about because it's a spoiler. Also the fact that the Greasers and the Socs hated each other so much to the point where it could cause certain scenarios and things in the book. This is very hard to explain because I can't like reveal information without spoiling it. But all of these different like factors put together made this book kind of unrealistic, but in a way that like it still makes sense, but it's just a little unrealistic. I kind of talked about this in the beginning of the book review, but of all of the books that I've read at school, this book was probably one of my favorites that like I've read in class. And also, I really enjoyed and actually like understood the theme or like the message of this book, like because in other books I usually don't really like look for or understand like what the book truly means or like the message of the book. But in this one I actually like understood it and I also like agreed with it. So I thought that was cool. And what else I'd talk about? Oh, the movie. So there's actually a movie that came out of this book. And we watched the movie like in school, but like we didn't watch it like from the beginning to the end straight through. Instead, like our assignment for 1 week would be like to read chapter 9 and 10, and then when we got to school we'd watch like the scenes of the movie that were chapter 9 and 10. This book came out in 1967, I think, and the movie came out in like the 1980s. So because of that, like the movie, like the acting and the editing of it is very undeveloped compared to now. So like some of the scenes were supposed to be like serious, but they just ended up being funny. But overall, I did enjoy watching the movie, and I think that it was like interesting. The way that we watched it was like I said before, instead of reading the book straight through and then watching the movie straight through, we like read the part of the book and then we watched the movie part of it and then we read it, and yeah. It was kind of like a show. But I did enjoy like seeing the movie and seeing first of all how the style of movies back then, and also seeing how people like portrayed the scenes in the book to like actual like video, and how they compare to my like images in my head when I was reading the book. So I thought that was cool. Overall, I did enjoy the book better because I always end up enjoying the book better just because of like the details in the book that you can't really put into the movie, or like the scenes that were cut out because it didn't have to be as long. So I ended up enjoying the book better. There also another reason is because there were some things in the book, like there was one scene where like someone was running away, like running, and in the book it seemed like they ran a long distance, but in the movie they ran like a block, and then they were like, oh no, I'm so tired. So I thought that was weird, and there's some little details like that, but yeah. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. I give it like 4.5 stars, 4.5 out of 5 stars. This book can be good for anyone. I feel like this is like a book that everyone should try and read at some point in their lives. Oh, did I not talk about that? I didn't talk about that. So right now, you might be wondering why I'm wearing a jacket and jeans and black jeans. And this is because in my school, every 8th grader, every year the 8th graders do something called Outsiders Day, where everyone can dress up as either a greaser or a soch. I'm a greaser right now, which is why I like this. And this is like, I don't have a leather jacket, so this is the closest I could get. But this year we had to kind of do it online, or in person. Some people online, some people with masks and all, like social distancing and all that stuff. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of disappointing, but we still did it and it was still fun. So yeah, this is what a greaser would wear. Not really, but it is. And a soch would wear like collared shirts, like skirts, like dress pants, like just nice things. And then greasers wear like jean jackets, leather jackets, white t-shirts, tank tops, jeans, and things like that. So that would be the end of my book review. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, then like this video and subscribe for more content like this. Happy reading!